Good morning, class. So we're going to get into model creation. And like I said, I'm going to guide you through this one again, just like I did the other video. Today, we're going to be looking at model creation. And I call this model basic creation, but this is actually our first opportunity to go ahead and model something where everything's not just one. And we actually have dimensions. We have to try to interpret this part. So I'm going to do the example. And my end goal is to get to a point where I have this volume of 16.531 inches cubed. And how I'm going to check that and all that stuff. So I'm going to have to move fairly quickly just because of the timing of the video. I don't want to make it too long, but let's go ahead and get going. So I have Inventor open, and instead of saving on our desktop or saving it somewhere where we don't know where to find it, I want to make sure everyone knows how to do this. So in the previous activity, we talked about projects. So I'm actually going to create a project. So I'm here on my homepage, and I'm going to create a project. And we're going to see we're going to have an error because something's open, but I'm going to simulate what happens a lot of times. I go to create a project, and something like this pops up where it looks like that. And right now, default is probably checked off for you. You probably don't have all these other ones because I've created other projects, but I'm going to go through the process now. And I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to use new single user project. I'm going to click that. I'm going to call the project name exactly what this activity is called, which is 3.2 basic model creation. I think I called it like model creation or something, but I'm going to call it basic model creation. You'll see that it saves on the C drive under users. For you, it might have something different, but this is how you can find it. I'm going to go ahead and click finish now. The project path you entered doesn't exist. Should it be created? Yes, because you're creating a new project. Oh no, while Inventor files are open, you can't create an active project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close that, which means I have to close any tab I have open. So I had something open. So I have to go through the process again. I'll do it more quickly this time, but you'll notice it's already created. So now I'm just going to go ahead and apply. Now the little checkbox moves up there. You'll notice everything goes away because now I'm working in a new folder. So just to specify where you would find the files that are going to get saved, it said the C drive, so that's going to be my computer. And then it mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, project files, Autodesk. Let me remember where it was. I said it C, fmanager documents. Oh, fmanager documents. So I'm completely in the wrong place. Documents. And then it created a folder Inventor, and you'll notice that it's going to save right here. So if I create anything, it's going to be inside this folder. So you always want to look at the location of it, and that's basically telling you where you're going to find it. Okay, so now I'm going to get going. Hopefully we can move a little quicker now. All right, so I'm going to start with a new part. This is what I want to create. So in the presentation, I talked about additive and subtractive solid modeling. So this is pretty straightforward, and I'm going to be able to do this with just 2 sketches. One of the things I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make this kind of shape right here and then add this little wing later. And I'm going to try to show you some tips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of 50-50 this screen. Okay, so I'm going to start 2D sketch. So my browser is open, my tabs are open, 3D model tab is available. I'm going to click the command start 2D sketch. I'm going to start with the XY plane. And then instead of going back later, I'm going to go ahead and start at the origin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line up. Once it's at 90, you'll notice that there's a blue highlighted 0.313. I want this, so I'm going to start drawing this first leg. I want it to be 1.5, so I'm literally going to type in 1.5. Hit enter. And the only way it's going to draw it correctly is if it's angled at the correct angle. So I can't do it right now. I can't do it right now. I have to wait till it's exactly 90. There it is, 90 degrees. And I want that to be, and I got to interpret this. This is the hard part. I got to interpret what this is based on the calculations. So if the whole thing is 4 wide and the right side is 1 and 2, that means this has to be 1. So I'm going to hit enter. Then I'm going to go up. And that also has to be 1. So 1, enter. I'm going to zoom out a little. Then it has to go over. And that over is 2. Enter. Then I go down. 1, enter. Then I go over. Again, 1, enter. Then I go down right to that starting position of 1.5. Enter. Oh no, I didn't do it correctly. 1.5, enter. Then I go over. Now I got to figure out the over. If the whole thing's 4, that's 3. That's 0.5. Let me think about this. Oh no, it says it right there. I don't even need to think about it. That's 0.5. Enter. I go up. How much do I go up? 0.5 also. Then I go over, looks like over, looks like 3. Then I go down, and then I close it off. Great. So now the shape, and you'll notice it's actually dimensioned for me already. I don't even have to dimension it. Now I can hit enter. You'll notice I did this all in one sketch. If you have more than one sketch, either you have a blank sketch or you do this on multiple sketches, you should only have one sketch so far. Now I'm able to extrude this. And I'm going to use a different extrusion just so you can see that there's different ones that exist. When I choose this button, it means that it's a symmetrical, so it goes back as much as it goes forward. And I want it to be extruded. I got to find that dimension 2.5. So what it's going to do is it's not going to go back 2.5 and forward 2.5. Instead, it's going to go back 1.25 and forward 1.25. And it's a solid shape. You'll notice that's why that's clicked. It's looking good so far. There we go. Now I just got to add the wing on the side. So start 2D sketch. I click there because that's where I want to draw it. I'm going to make my life easy and just use a rectangle. And then I'm just going to draw it randomly for now. Actually, that's not true. I don't have to draw it randomly. I know it's 1.5, so I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to hit tab, and it's going to be 0.25 tall. But I can't just place this block anywhere. I have to say how far away it is from the top. It's 0.75. And how far away from the side? It's 0.5. Awesome. And then how much it extrudes. It's going to go 0.75 based on the dimensions. There we go. I could make it yellow, but for the sake of making this video shorter, forget it. I'll just make it yellow to match what my example looked like. I'm going to click on the part. I haven't even named it. I'm going to make it, sorry, that's the color wheel. I'm going to make it yellow. Perfect. Click OK. Now I'm going to go to right click, eye properties, physical tab. Nothing shows. I update it 16.531. Let's double check the example. 16.531. It's unbelievable. I did it. Amazing. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to close this. Actually, sorry. I'm not going to close it. I'm going to leave it open. And I'm going to use the snipping tool to go ahead and snip not only the eye properties, but the part itself. There we go. I right click, I copy, and I'm going to paste this into my copy of the Google Doc. Obviously, you can leave this one there, but you're going to have to do these next 3 on your own. So that is the assignment. One last thing really quickly. I haven't even saved it. So I'm going to go ahead and save as. I always follow this convention. You'll notice it already saved the folder. Why? Because that's the whole point of it, right? It's supposed to automatically save in this folder. I'm going to name it 3.2 basic model. I'll leave it as that. F Menhivad. And then, actually, I should first say example part. And then F Menhivad. So what does this do? What's the name of the activity, or what's the number of the activity? What's the name of the activity? What's the part? Who made it? Those components should always be in your save. Now I'm going to click save. It's going to update it. And now, if I open up my folder again, I go to C drive, which is this PC. I go to documents. I go to inventor, 3.2 basic modeling. You'll see it's saved in that folder if I ever needed to find it. If I was ever curious again where a part's saved, I go to eye properties, and it tells me directly where it's at. I could even copy and paste this directly here, and it'll lead me right to it. So let's say I'm like here. If I wanted to, I could paste that, and then it'll lead me right to that folder. All right, perfect. Hope you learned a lot from this. Now it's your opportunity. Good luck swimming.